All right, let's jump right into one of the most fascinating puzzles in the entire Bible. Seriously, it's a question that's had people scratching their heads for centuries, but the answer, well, it's absolutely brilliant. This is a story about two different family trees and the incredible picture they paint when you finally see how they fit together.
So here's the big mystery. You open up the Gospels, you go to Matthew and then to Luke, and you find two completely different genealogies for Jesus. So what gives? Is this just a sloppy error, a major contradiction, or is there something deeper going on? We're about to see that this isn't a mistake at all. It's actually a masterpiece of design.
Okay, so let's lay out the puzzle, because at first glance, yeah, these two accounts in Matthew and Luke look like they're totally at odds with each other. But as you're about to see, the differences themselves are the actual clues to unlocking the whole thing. I mean, just look at how different they are. Matthew starts with Abraham, the father of the Jewish people, and he moves forward in time. He follows the royal line through King Solomon and lands on Joseph. But then you have Luke, who does the complete opposite. He starts with Jesus and traces the line backward, all the way to Adam, the first man. And his line goes through David's other son, Nathan, ending with Mary. They literally split apart at King David and don't come back together until Jesus. So what's going on here?
Well, these differences are totally intentional. They're tied directly to what each author is trying to show us. Matthew is writing to a Jewish audience, and his main goal is to present Jesus as the promised Messiah king, the Lion of Judah. So his genealogy is all about proving Jesus has the legal right to the throne. Luke, on the other hand, is a doctor writing to a wider audience. He presents Jesus as the perfect, relatable Son of Man. So his genealogy is all about proving Jesus' physical, human bloodline.
And that brings us right to the first major piece of our solution, the two paths. You've got one family tree that establishes a legal claim and another that establishes a blood right. And here's the thing, you absolutely need both.
Okay, so here's the key takeaway. Think of it like this. Matthew's list is the royal line. It gives Jesus the legal right to be king, the title deed to the throne, if you will. Luke's list is the actual bloodline, proving he's a true, physical descendant of King David. To be the legitimate Messiah, you need both. One gives you the crown, the other gives you the blood.
So it seems pretty simple, right? Legal line plus bloodline, boom, you've got the Messiah. But it's not quite that easy. In fact, there's a massive, and I mean massive, problem hiding in plain sight, right there in the royal line. It's a paradox that seems like it should make the whole thing impossible. And this is where our story takes a dramatic turn, because deep in the Old Testament, a curse was placed on that royal family tree, a curse that literally made it impossible for any direct descendant on that line to ever sit on the throne of David again.
Just listen to the weight of these words from the prophet Jeremiah. God pronounces what's basically a blood curse on a king in the royal line named Jeconiah. And guess who is a direct descendant of this very king? Joseph, Jesus' legal father. The curse is crystal clear. No biological son from Jeconiah's line can ever prosper as king, period.
Do you see the paradox? It's the ultimate catch-22. The Messiah has to have the legal claim to the throne, which can only come through Joseph's royal line, but anyone who has the blood of that very same line is disqualified by the curse. So any biological son of Joseph could never ever be king. It seems like an impossible situation.
But this is where the story gets truly brilliant. What seems like an unbreakable paradox is actually solved by an incredibly elegant two-part solution that was put into place thousands of years earlier. It's a perfect legal and biological loophole.
So here's how it all works. First, the virgin birth. You see, this wasn't just a miracle, it was a legal necessity. Because Jesus is not Joseph's biological son, he doesn't inherit that blood curse from Jeconiah. He completely sidesteps it. But that still leaves a question. How does he get the legal claim to the throne? Well, that's where a little-known law from the book of Numbers comes into play.
This is just amazing. Way back in the time of Moses, this case came up about 5 sisters, the daughters of a man named Zelophehad. They didn't have any brothers, so a special legal exception was made. If a man had only daughters, his inheritance could pass through them. And over time, this led to a custom where the father-in-law could legally adopt his son-in-law to become his heir.
And this is how it all connects. The Gospel of Luke says Jesus was the son of Joseph, as was supposed, who was the son of Heli. Now, who's Heli? Heli was Mary's father. Because Mary apparently had no brothers, her father, Heli, legally adopted his son-in-law, Joseph. This made Joseph the legal heir to Mary's line, the uncursed bloodline of David through Nathan, while Joseph also brought his own royal title from the line of Solomon. So Jesus inherits the pure blood from Mary and the legal right from Joseph, all without touching the curse.
So, when you put all of these pieces together, what you're looking at isn't a contradiction at all. It's a breathtakingly intricate and perfectly cohesive design, one that weaves together prophecy, law, and history over thousands of years. Just look at how perfectly this all locks into place. You've got the legal line from Matthew giving Jesus the right to rule. You've got the bloodline from Luke giving him the pure Davidic lineage. The virgin birth is the genius move that gets him around the blood curse, and that ancient law of adoption legally joins the two lines, securing the claim flawlessly. Every single piece had to be there for it to work.
And if that wasn't already incredible enough, there's one more layer of design hidden here. It turns out, if you take the first 10 names in Luke's genealogy, from Adam all the way to Noah, and you translate what their names mean in Hebrew, they spell out a sentence, a hidden message encoded in the family tree from the dawn of time.
Just let that sink in for a second. Adam, Seth, Enosh, right on down to Noah. Their names, in order, literally tell the entire story of the gospel. Man is appointed mortal sorrow, but the blessed God shall come down, teaching his death shall bring the despairing comfort and rest. This was written into the very first family tree.
So, in the end, these two genealogies are not some clumsy mistake. They are two halves of a single, masterfully engineered solution to what looks like an impossible paradox. From the split lines of David, to the curse, to the ancient laws, even to the meanings of the names themselves, every single detail points to one deliberate, overarching plan.
And that really leaves us with this one powerful thought. A puzzle that starts out looking like a contradiction reveals itself to be one of the most sophisticated legal and prophetic arguments ever put together. It all points to the idea that behind all these ancient texts, there is one author with one incredible unfolding plan.